Yeah, sure, a good hearty soup or stew is great, but this takes both of those things and becomes their daddy. Okay, so today we're making gumbo. Now, there are many different varieties of a gumbo, so I already know people are gonna be in the comments saying something, Josh, you can't do this, Josh, you can't do that, what the hell, brother? This isn't Cajun, this isn't real hip. I get it, and I know the traditions, but the thing that's special about gumbo isn't just what goes into it. It is how it brings people together. It is how it is served. It is the taste, the texture, the unctuousness of what's in front of you that makes it special. Now, do you feel a little bad? We're using filet in place of okra because okra is disgusting. The texture of it is something like if you're eating and then someone sneezed into your open mouth. Is that what you want? I already know people are gonna say, Josh, don't mix land and sea. You can't do that. It'll mask the seafood flavor. And while that is true in most scenarios, the thing that I like about this is it starts with a strong seafood base with an excessive amount of seafood that definitely balances it out quite nicely. Guess what? No one's gonna get hurt and it's gonna taste mighty fine as it is. So with all that said, let's make this, shall we?
Well, we done got a gumbo. And hey, purists, reminder, if you want it ultra traditional, then stick with either just seafood or just meat. Now, granted, you'll have to add a little chicky to the actual gumbo if you replace the meaty crab men. Anyway, you can't have a great gumbo without a stock. That's right, we're doing a beefy shellfish stock. First, prep your which is 2 onions, quartered, 2 carrots, rough chopped. Next, you need the shells from 3 to 4 lobster tails. Yes, we're going to use the meat. Fun fact, you can actually de-shell a lobster without cooking it. Highly recommended. Just cut the hard ribs all the way down the underside, give it a gentle crack on its side, and carefully open it up, fiddling the meat from its shell, and it should pop right out like this. Reserve the meat and shells separately. Then you'll need 1 cup or 150 grams of shrimp shells, which would literally just be all the shells from 1 pound of shrimp. Yes, we're gonna add that shrimp too. Next, break down 3 clusters of snow crab, reserve the meat for the final gumbo, and place the shells with the rest of your stock ingredients. Now get yourself a big ass pot. Add in just enough oil to coat the bottom, blast it over medium high, and sear off 2 pounds or 900 grams of bone-in short rib and 2 pounds or 900 grams of boneless beef chuck roast. Sear those bad boys on all sides for 2 to 3 minutes each, or until you get some lovely Maillard reaction. Then add in all your shellfish shells, along with your vegetables, which also include 1 tablespoon or 9 grams of black peppercorns and 3 bay leaves. Then add about 5 quarts of water, a small handful of fresh thyme, then bring that up to a boil and immediately reduce to low and simmer, skimming off any scum that rises to the top, and let that cook down for 5 to 6 hours. Then remove the solids, strain through a fine mesh sieve, and that is your lovely surf and turf broth. God, I've always hated that term. It sounds awful. Right, before we make our gumbo, I have a dangerous subject to jump into. Cajun spice. Now, brother, I know we love our Tony Chachere's or whatever the hell your favorite brand is, but you need to give this one chance because it is bussin'. Now, strap yourself in because it's a long list. In a medium bowl, add 1.5 tablespoons or 6 grams of garlic powder, 2 tablespoons or 17 grams of cayenne powder, 2 tablespoons or 12 grams of smoked paprika, 2 teaspoons or 6 grams of onion powder, 1 tablespoon or 6 grams of fresh ground black pepper, 2 teaspoons or 2 grams of dried thyme. I like to lightly crush it with my fingers and make it finer and bring out some more of its flavor. 1 tablespoon or 2 grams of dried oregano, 2 teaspoons or 8 grams of, guess what, buddy? It's in tons of store-bought Cajun seasonings, and it's freaking delicious, brother. 1.5 tablespoons or 11 grams of kosher salt, 2 teaspoons or 6 grams of ground white pepper, and 1 tablespoon or 13 grams of dark brown sugar. Whew, that was a doozy. Now, give it some whiskey business until thoroughly combined, and you have a Cajun spice I'm not afraid to put in front of any of my Cajun bon ami. All right, it is time. We begin with the ultra-important dark roux. In a large stock pot that's at least 10 quarts, add in half a cup or 90 grams of duck fat and half a cup or 90 grams of lard or bacon fat. Heat that over medium heat. Once that's melted, add in 1 cup or 150 grams of all-purpose flour. Begin mixing that together until thoroughly incorporated, and you pretty much have your roux. Now all you have to do is let that bad boy cook, stirring relatively frequently to avoid burning until it darkens to sort of a rich mahogany color. This will take about 15 minutes, so don't rush it. Take it nice and slow to achieve a proper color without burning. Once it's ready, you can now add what's called the Creole Holy Trinity, which consists of 3 ribs of celery diced, 2 onions diced, and 1 large green bell pepper, you guessed it, diced. Let that saute just until softened, then add 4 cloves of finely chopped garlic, saute till fragrant, then add half a pound or 250 grams of andouille sausage and half a pound or 250 grams of kielbasa sausage, both of which are already fully cooked, smoked, and sliced half an inch thick on a bias. Stir to coat, and once that sausage is hot and rendered out some of its fat, add 2.5 tablespoons or 35 grams of your Cajun spice, stir that in, and let those spices toast for 1 minute, then add 3 tablespoons or 41 grams of Louisiana or Crystal hot sauce, 3 1/4 quarts or 3 liters of your stock from earlier, and 1 20-ounce or 750 gram can of crushed fire roasted tomatoes. Now bring that to a boil and lower the heat to medium-low and simmer for 1 hour. All right, we're on the home stretch. After 1 hour of simmering, add in 2.5 teaspoons or 3 grams of gumbo filet powder, simmer for 25 more minutes, then add in just the bottom segment from 2 clusters of snow king crab, you know, the little pointy parts. They have less meat, but the shells contain a lot of flavor. I threw in a big claw as well, why not? Now for the rest of those clusters, gently remove the meat and place it to the side. Next, you'll add 3 whole snow crab clusters broken into individual pieces, your 1 pound of raw peeled and deveined shrimp, and your raw and also peeled 3 to 4 lobster tails, which I also deveined and cut into 1-inch chunks. Now lower that heat to low and very gently simmer that for 15 more minutes, then stir in another 2.5 teaspoons or 3 grams of gumbo filet powder, simmer 5 more minutes, add all of your king crab meat, 3 tablespoons or 45 milliliters of Worcestershire sauce. Wow, I got it right that time, nice. And once that meat is nice and warm in my mouth, you're ready to serve. Now, get yourself a shallow bowl and add in enough gumbo to your heart's content. Add a fat scoop of beautifully, perfectly steamed rice, and yes, oh yes, I washed it. You did too. Right. And finally, a nice little sprinkle of thinly sliced chives. That is a stunning bowl of gumbo if I ever doggone seen one. But oh wait, what's going into this bowl? Is that a pat of Papa's Cajun MSG butter, so good makes your clothes fall off. Yes, if you want to be real naughty, you can make a nice little Cajun butter by combining 1 cup or 225 grams of salted softened butter, 1.5 teaspoons or 6 grams of MSG, 4 cloves of garlic grated, half a bunch of thinly sliced chives, mix and fold together until thoroughly combined, and screw it, add a little Cajun spice too, why not? And that's your butter. Now get a sheet of plastic wrap, plop your butter into the center and spread into a 7-inch long strip, roll the plastic wrap around that, fully enclosing your butter, then grab the 2 sides and let it roll and wind up into a toit sausage. Let that chill in the fridge until solid, slice into medallions and stir into a piping hot bowl of gumbo. Now with or without MSG, let's taste test this and see how we did on our gumbo.
Woo-wee, brother! That's a goddamn knee slapper. Look at this color. It's like a fine mahogany. I feel like we're at a woodworking shop and I just see a beautiful, just natural mahogany plank. I'm really excited about this one if you guys can't already tell. Now let's try the normal one without the MSG butter. Bless America. This is a perfect gumbo. I mean, many might have something to say, oh, he didn't do this and he didn't do that. Shut up. This is delicious. I've had many gumbos. Many of them are different, but there's a few similarities. Not only does this contain those traditional similarities, what you're looking for in a gumbo, but it's just a little elevated. All right, first off, the MSG is a little bit of when you taste it on your tongue. It's seasoned perfectly. It's got the right level of spice. There's the smokiness from the MSG butter. If you make this, you are not allowed to make it without the garlic MSG butter. Period. End of story. It is what it is. If you've never made gumbo before or you have made it before, it just doesn't matter. This is the gumbo you should make.
You want to know what else entices the joie de vivre? B-roll.
Guys, and that is it. So we made our gumbo. It came out beautifully. It was a rich, dark, unctuous, almost caramel color, and that is what it should look like. It's smooth, it's got the nice texture, it's smoky, you can taste the seafood come through. The crab shells simmering in there, big, fat, juicy piece of king crab flopping in your mouth. God damn, that's enough to make you slap your grandma. But don't actually do that because I don't want to get in trouble for that. But anyway, with all that said, if you enjoyed this video or you learned something, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you. I already know people are gonna be in the comments right now. Oh, he mixed land and sea. Oh my God, he didn't put freaking okra in here. I do what I want, so, sorry.